She does a lot for your family. Mother's Day is your chance to show her you see it, with a gift from a brand trusted for generations to help people get the moment right. 1-800-Flowers. With double blooms from 1-800-Flowers, buy 1 dozen roses and get another dozen for free. It's a bigger gesture, backed by 50 years of experience delivering fresh flowers, so you can feel confident sending something that lands. Show up for her with double blooms at 1-800-Flowers.com/podcast. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/podcast.
Owning a home is full of surprises. Some wonderful, some not so much. And when something breaks, it can feel like the whole day unravels. That's why HomeServe exists. For as little as $4.99 a month, you'll always have someone to call. A trusted professional ready to help, bringing peace of mind to 4.5 million homeowners nationwide. For plans starting at just $4.99 a month, go to homeserve.com. That's homeserve.com. Not available everywhere. Most plans range between $4.99 to $11.99 a month your first year. Terms apply on covered repairs.
You're listening to KEMPIRE here on the KEMPIRE Radio Network. Happy Monday, everyone. Happy Monday. Let me know where you are watching from. We are streaming live from New York City. This is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. If you're watching on YouTube, let us know how you would rate this week's episode. But if you're watching on Twitch or X or on Facebook, make sure you guys are following us there as well, because sometimes we do exclusive lives on those platforms. Let me know how you guys would rate this week's episode of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. After rewatching it this morning, I'm like, you know what? This actually was a good episode. And Angela, I know some people do not believe the hype. I think people feel as if people hyped Angela up. No, last night proved why Angela deserves all the hype. She stood her own, but Pinky, so did you. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to take callers today, but it is a members-only live chat. Shout out to our members. Some of you have been members for a few weeks. Some of you have been members for a few years. I don't take it lightly that you guys support this channel and everything that we're always trying to do and always trying to upgrade. We do not take that lightly here on the channel. So thank you so much for your monthly support. If you're not a member, you should become one, because last week we had Nancy, my Vedic astrologer, come through, and some of you even booked longer sessions with her, but it's not a perk of the membership, but I'm always thinking of different creative ways of giving back to the members in some shape or form. And some of you, look, I think some of you got some priceless information that hopefully will affect your lives. If you missed our collaboration with Nancy, you can watch it as a member here on the channel, on the YouTube channel, but you can listen to it on the KEMPIRE podcast. So subscribe to the KEMPIRE podcast if you haven't already. All right. I see you all in the chat. 8.5. If I had to rate this week's episode, I'm going to give it an 8.5. I'm going to give it an 8.5. Cynthia is hosting this trip. Cynthia, girl, get your coin. In a variety of ways, Cynthia, get your coin. Because not only are we having Cynthia on the show, she's a friend of, but they're highlighting one of her businesses on the show. The collaboration with Adrienne Maloof. If you don't know Adrienne Maloof, Google her. Of course, she was on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but no, Google Adrienne Maloof. That is money. That is money. This is why some people, I don't know, I don't feel like a lot of people say they want Adrienne to come back on the show. Adrienne had a lot of drama when she was on Beverly Hills, but Adrienne also has a lot of money. A lot of money. So good for you, Cynthia. This is a fantastic collaboration, a fantastic platform. You see how she's, look, no other friend of is hosting a trip. And look, how are you guys thinking about the trip? I'm excited for this trip. This trip is giving messy. And I'm excited for next week's episode. And it's been a long time because you guys are always asking me, how are you feeling? Are you liking the season? And a lot of times I'm like, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But this was probably the first time that I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Let's see. So if I had to rate this week's episode, I'm also going to give it an 8.5. I think it was good. It was good. Jersey Girl said big money. Yes. Two Foxy says she has money. Money and businesses. So I'm not just going to say, oh, she just has the money. Like she married rich. Her family, all of them, they rich. Okay? So Adrienne, we see you. That's some good work too, Adrienne. Adrienne got a little something, but it's okay. We can talk about the work, right? Actually got some good work. I was like, all right, Adrienne, I see you. So at the top of this week's episode, we literally have Adrienne Maloof, formerly of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, meeting with Phaedra and Cynthia about this girls trip that they're going to make to Dallas for this new tequila collaboration with Cynthia and Adrienne. Adrian and Cynthia have been friends for a long time. So like Cynthia goes to Adrian's home for different parties because apparently Adrian throws some of the best parties. Like she's having, you get like laser treatments, Botox, and all this kind of stuff. You walking out the house with a gift bag. But then I saw Kathy Hilton's being sued by someone that came to her home. And this is why I'm like, I don't need nobody in my house. But Kathy's always hosting people. And look, she's hosted people for many years and she hasn't been sued. But now she's being sued by someone that came into her home. See, this is why I'm like, this is why you don't let everybody come up into your home. All of a sudden, your concrete pavement, your things are uneven. You didn't have a banister. And now they want to sue you. Now they want to sue you. All right? Elliot said, Kemp got right into the review. That's how you know it's interesting. You're right, Elliot. But I did want to say this because I reposted a video from one of our live recaps where I talked about Spirit Airlines. If you saw it over the weekend, Spirit Airlines has now officially closed for business. And I know I made a joke that if you see me on Spirit Airlines, call for help. I've been kidnapped. I was being facetious. I understand that there has to exist a Spirit Airlines so that when I'm booking flights with Delta, that they have competition. I believe in competition. So although I make jokes, I understand the importance of a Spirit Airlines and a Frontier and them having affordable flights for everyone, okay? But like I said, if you said, no, I'm playing, all right? So can we pour one out? Can we pour one out for Spirit Airlines? I think that is, let's pour one out for Spirit. How do I say goodbye to what we had? Oh, the good times. No. Damn, Wave Key says Spirit Airlines is now literally Spirit. Yeah, it's all right, though. It's all right. But maybe not all right. All right, let's move on. Wave Key says affordable flights, but the checked luggage is $100. Even some of these expensive flights, they're charging that. Not Delta. But okay, let's move on. I just wanted to take that moment. Back to Real Housewives of Atlanta. Belisha says lighters up. Oh my gosh. Belisha says lighters up. Oh, thank you, Melissa. Melissa, you the only one I support on YouTube. 8. Thank you. I appreciate that, Melissa. But support our friends. Support our friends too. Our friends of the channel that come here on the channel. The Brooke Ashleys, the Taria Faisans. Okay, the Alexander Rogers, the C Diggies, the DJ Richie Skies. Be sure to support them. Who else? What did I forget? Wait, hold on. Oh, the Layla Lynn's, the Grace Reports. Come on now. Support our friends of the channel. But I understand. Thank you. All right. Yeah, Ariana says we need to have a real discussion about change in travel. Yeah. All right, back to this. Let's focus. We can talk about these things at other times where we do hot topics and whatnot. All right. It is May 4th. All right. It's the first Monday in May. Y'all know what that means. But also, it's Taurus season. So shout out to all the Tauruses. Shout out to everyone celebrating a birthday. Also, Mother's Day is right around the corner. There is a special deal in regards to our Cameo right now. So if you have a birthday wish, a Mother's Day wish, this is your opportunity this week to book me for your Cameo. Book me now because it is also my birthday month. Okay? Okay. All right. Let's get back into this. If you had to rate this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, be sure to let me know how you rate it from 1 to 10. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching the replay, if you're watching on Twitch, Twitter, anywhere, be sure to let us know how you would rate this week's episode. Shout out to everyone watching on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. All right? All right. Let me get into my notes because I didn't even open my notes. So at the top of this week's episode, we have them planning the Dallas trip with Cynthia, Phaedra, and Adrian Malouf. All right. Adrian has a very viable tequila business. I think she has other tequilas too. Cynthia, I love the new confessional look, the big suit with the short hair. Shout out to Paris. Paris has been doing some of the girls, like a lot of the girls. Paris is stylist, went from styling. Paris has styled Marlo before. But Paris went from styling Kelly, which wasn't a great example of Paris's work. Went from styling Kelly to styling Britt Eady. Now is styling like 3 of the ladies on this cast. I think, right? 3? I think Paris is styling Cynthia, has styled Portia. I don't remember who else Paris has styled on this cast. But I feel like there is another one. And if not, there will be another one. Okay. Get your coin. Get your coin. I love this new confessional look. She's got the short hair of Cynthia. She's got this big suit on. I didn't love all of Cynthia's confessionals this episode. Like one where she looked like Portia with the ponytail. I don't really like that one. That's not my favorite. But I like the big where she's wearing almost this. It's like the tan version to the blue or aqua blue dress that Marlo wore to one of the reunions. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. I've digressed. All right, so the theme for this trip, this girls' trip, is Dallas and Dynasty themed, which is so interesting because it was May 2nd, 1984, that Diane Carroll made her first appearance on the show Dynasty. 1984, 40 plus years ago, made her first appearance, and we were never the same. Shamia is my age. Shamia not knowing Dynasty, and look, I get it. It came out when we were babies, but I knew of the show. But Shamia acting like she didn't know, maybe she really didn't know. That just told me everything I need to know about Shamia. I was just like, she didn't know what Dynasty was. She didn't know who Diane Carroll was. I knew after I Googled her. You did not know who Diane Carroll was? That just told me everything that I need to know about Shamia. What is Shamia watching? You know what I mean? If she didn't know Dynasty, I'm like, okay. But you don't know who Diane Carroll was? You don't remember that Diane Carroll played Whitley Gilbert's mother on Different World? She's had other roles. Don't get me wrong. But you didn't, huh? Exactly. KSH Pittman says that Shamia is aloof. I hate that for her. And I'm not saying that I need to know every person. I just found that hard to believe. But that says everything that I need to know about Shamia in so many different levels. I was like, you didn't know Dynasty, fine. Okay. But you didn't know Diane Carroll. Okay, if you didn't know her in Dynasty, fine. But you didn't know her from a different world? And if you don't, I implore you, Shamia, go watch those seasons, those episodes with Diane Carroll on A Different World. Amazing. I even loved it when Patti LaBelle came. It was on those episodes of A Different World. I'm sure she knows who Patti LaBelle is. Right? Ooh, Miss Parker says Shamia too busy watching Ren and Stimpy. Can we talk about, here's the thing. Y'all know I'm critical of Phaedra, rightfully. But I had a change of heart this week. Maybe it's this full moon in Scorpio. She's a Scorpio. I had a change of heart this week because I said that Phaedra should not be full-time. And look, if I was in charge of producing the show and assigning who should be who, I would not make Phaedra full-time. However, if Bravo's going to be stupid enough to make her full-time, fine. Get your checks, Phaedra. That's not your fault. That's not your fault that they're dumb. But I will say, she had me laughing. But she's still giving me friend of energy. There's no personal story. There's no at home enough for her. But I was like, you know what? She is a good friend of. And I've been critical of Phaedra when she was on Married to Medicine. I was like, she wasn't needed. She still wasn't needed. But as a friend of the show, I think she would have been perfect. But if Bravo wants to pay Phaedra, wants to pay this black woman a full-time check, give it to her. But you know who should get paid a full-time check next? Is Cynthia. But Cynthia might be getting paid a full-time check for all we know, and she's just being called a friend of because now she's hosting the girls' trip. They're highlighting Cynthia's businesses. So, Cynthia, get your money. All right? Foxy said she was funny, especially this episode. This episode with Phaedra had me laughing. I was like, okay, Phaedra. It's still giving friend of energy, but you know what, Phaedra? Get your money. Get your money. KSH says, is it Keisha Pittman? I feel like it is. Not a change of heart. She still needs to be a friend of. I'm with you. Get your exactly. That's why I was like, I had to think it through this morning. I was like, it's definitely friend of energy because there's no personal story. But if Bravo's going to be stupid enough to pay you a full-time check, you're the smart one. You're the smart one. T says Cynthia is carrying. Cynthia, I loved the dress that Cynthia was wearing at the dinner, I was like, okay, Cynthia, I love this look that between the hair and the dress was beautiful. All right. I've digressed. I will get back to some of my side. When I had the thought come to my brain, I have to say it because I feel like as I get to the end, I forget things because I'm not really looking at my notes. All right. So, sidebar, Adrian Maluf, there must be some sort of black cherry version of this tequila or something like that. And this is where Phaedra loses me because sometimes Phaedra could just be weird. And she's just, oh, black cherry. Oh, that sounds like my vagina. Phaedra is a caricature of herself. She's like, black cherry sounds like my vagina. Phaedra, get away from me with this. All right, so everyone, we don't even get the ladies' wait, did we even see? I guess we got a little glimpses because they were flashing through everyone's issues. So we do see some of them packing for this trip. Here's my biggest criticism. I get it that production is trying to do something different production-wise when it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta. They're trying to bring it into a new era. They're trying to give us something different. It's giving a little too much campy, though. It's giving a little too much pre-produced. And I think the reason why I'm not loving that with this set of women is because some of these people do not have storylines and are giving us fake storylines. So the campiness of it also is, okay, what's real and what's not? You get what I'm saying? All right. So all the women arrive. Shamia says that she's never seen Dynasty before, which, again, she was a baby when this was airing. I get it. I watched the reruns. But I also was a young gay man that loves like the fabulosity and the soaps and all that, okay? But her saying that she didn't know who Dominique Devereaux was, I was like, oh, Lord have mercy. Or Diane Carroll, who she is, okay. Angela says that she didn't understand or get the memo about the theme. But the memo was there. So she was like, oh, so that's why they were dressed like that. Honestly, I would have loved to see Angela dress in the theme because Angela is such a statuesque woman. Like, she's a tall woman. And I would love to see her with some big hair and like a fabulous outfit. I think she would have been perfect for the theme. And apparently she has the coin to dress up in a theme. Oh, we'll get to it. Okay, we will get to it. So this is Pinky's first girls trip. Pinky does give a masculine energy, and she says that. She says she has a masculine energy as a woman. She said it, and I was like, oh, yeah, she does. And it's not even just the short haircut. She used to have long dreads. So I feel like she's always given this sort of energy, and she's been a boss. So I'm sure she's had to, especially in some of these rooms. Sidebar, did y'all see the CFO, the former CFO of her business, was indicted for stealing money from her business? Some of you thought thought that Pinky was indicted. No. The former CFO was indicted. Yep. Indicted for stealing money. Matter of fact, let me read it to you. Because since we're talking about it, and I'm not going to do a separate video talking about this, let me read it to you in regards to the update when it comes to what's been going on with Pinky. Hold on, y'all. As I pull this up. As I'm doing that, guys, don't forget to like the video. It's an easy, free way of supporting not just this channel, but other channels as well. Let me just bring up this article that I saw yesterday. It was over the weekend this information came out. Shout out to the Neighborhood Talk. They write this. They said, neighbors, the tide is turning for Pinky Cole. The state of Georgia has indicted her former CFO, Aaron Mattison, for theft by taking, forgery in the first degree, and money laundering amid her previous lawsuit from former employees for unpaid wages. This has social users questioning that 2022 lawsuit against Bar Vegan for unpaid wages, which is important to note because that comes up in the fight between Angela and Pinky at the end of the episode. So Pinky, of course, has to say in that moment, I did not pay my workers, okay? So if you recall, back in July of 2022, a former employee filed a lawsuit alleging unpaid minimum wage, overtime, and withheld tips. The case was later settled in early 2023 for $25,000, but now things have taken an interesting turn. Attention is shifting to her former CFO, Aaron Mattison, who has been indicted in Georgia on charges of theft by taking first-degree forgery and money laundering. According to court documents, prosecutors allege that he created unauthorized financial documents appearing to be approved by Bar Vegan, which was unauthorized. They're accusing him of orchestrating an $87,300 wire transfer under false pretenses before using the funds for personal benefit. Authorities also claim that he withdrew company money through repeated 600 transactions between September 2021 and June of 2022, totaling over $24,999, and moved funds through multiple accounts in an alleged laundering scheme. And when you have such a huge business, you're not paying attention to $600 missing every other week. Wow. Pinky has not been charged in connection to these allegations, but what's most interesting is the timeline overlapping with when the wage and payment issues surfaced. She has previously denied intentionally withholding wages and pointed to internal management challenges during their rapid expansion. The situation comes as her company works through a Chapter 11 bankruptcy filed in March of 2026, listing roughly $1.3 to $1.4 million in liabilities. Shout out to the Neighborhood Talk on that. I thought that's important for us to know because it comes up later in this week's episode.
Most people overpay for car insurance, not because they're careless, but because switching feels like too much hassle. That's why there's Jerry, your proactive insurance assistant. Jerry compares rates side by side from over 50 top insurers and helps you switch with ease. Jerry even tracks market rates and alerts you when it's best to shop. No spam calls, no hidden fees. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Switch with confidence. Download the Jerry app or visit jerry.ai/Libsyn today. That's JERRY.ai/LIBSYN.
All right, back to our Real Housewives of Atlanta recap as I take a sip. All right. Not Cousin Faith didn't get on your nerves this week, Mr. Melon Magic said. All right, back to this. So Pinky said this is her first girls trip. She says that she has like a masculine energy for a woman. K. Michelle says that she's nervous about this girls trip. Understandably, K. Michelle's history and things like that. All right. Pinky, they all get on this private jet. So this is important. So many of you keep asking for more and more luxury on these shows, specifically on Potomac and Atlanta. And we're going on a private jet to get to our location. So Pinky says his prayer. They make it seem like Pinky's prayer is long, but look, even if it was long, I'm not going to interrupt, joke about somebody's prayer, because if it's going to get us somewhere safe, I believe in the power of manifestation, and I believe prayer is a form of manifestation. I said pray, and if it's going to take long, take as long as you need. Okay? So Pinky says a prayer for their flight, all right? Pinky's on the flight. Here's the thing, though, Pinky, and it could be just the way that this is edited. It feels like anytime there's a moment with Pinky, it's, everyone's talking about something else. It's, oh, look at my new outfit, blah, 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 blah. Pinky's, oh, that's a really great outfit. I wish I could buy something. I'm thinking about filing for bankruptcy. Someone's talking about, this food is so delicious. I used to have good, delicious food, but I'm filing for bankruptcy. Did I tell you I'm filing for bankruptcy? Anytime. And look, we appreciate the transparency because we said this last week that she's probably the only one really being authentic. But I feel like we're on a flight. We're on this fabulous private jet. We're on a girls' trip. And Pinky's like, I think, I got a stomach ache. Pinky's just, man, I got a stomach ache because I'm filing for this bankruptcy too. I'm like, okay, Pinky, we get it. And we appreciate the transparency, but damn, okay? Damn. But I appreciate in this moment, she explains, she's like, I can't file for Chapter 7. I can't file for Chapter 13. So she's explaining more about how she pays herself. I have all these different businesses, so I only pay myself a certain amount. But because I've only paid myself a certain amount, I only have so much in regards to assets. But because of my assets, I can't file for this, blah, 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 blah. And they're all, oh. And Shamia's looking nervous because I'm getting into doing my own business right now. And and look, I love this for you, Shamia. My biggest issue is getting in the drive-thru in time for getting my Chick-fil-A, breakfast for Chick-fil-A. And you know what? I appreciate that for her in regards to like, that's the only thing that she has to worry about in life. Good for you. All right. Angela said that she considered filing as well. However, she said it's so invasive when they file. But they basically in your house when you file for chapter, whatever it is, bankruptcy. But then she reiterates, she was like, I lost $2 million of my own dollars. Mind you, I posted a tweet and Angela was in the comment section of this tweet. Let me see if I can pull up the tweet. What I said yesterday, because Angela was in the comment section, because I told you guys last week, I said, you pay attention to the language that Angela's using. She's saying that she lost $2 million of her own money. And she emphasizes that again in this conversation. Please understand, I don't owe anybody. I lost $2 million of my own money. And I told you this before, what Karen Yuger said, you got to make millions in order to lose millions or owe millions. Okay? All right. Hold on. Let me say thank you before I get into this. Kendra, thank you so much for the super chat. Kendra says, nope, Kendra. Nope, you can't. Kendra says, can I get a set me free from our B-Day yesterday, please? Nope. But thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate it. Y'all think this is the request line? Really? Miss Esquire, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Miss Esquire says but happy belated birthday, Kendra. Earlier RHOA season's version of Phaedra would never associate with this Phaedra. Where's the class? Where's the couth? Where's the Southern Belle etiquette? I don't know. You guys tell me. All right. Exactly. Rainey says, oh, no, there's a certain amount of money because that's how we raised to set me free to be put on the soundboard. All right. Rainey says, Kempire said no amount of money will set him free. Just say it. But happy birthday. Y'all think this is the request line. Okay. Exactly. Singer DST says, singing request line by Jeanne. Dr. Miss Honey said, he said, nope. All right, back to this, guys, because we can't get distracted. Let me go back to the tweet that I wanted to mention, because I posted this last night, and this is why you should follow me on X, because when I'm watching the episode, I am live tweeting. All right, let me see. Oh, so I posted this tweet yesterday, and I said Angela wanted to make it clear she lost $2 million of her own money and that she doesn't owe anyone. Let's be clear. I had $2 million to lose. I see you, Angela, but at the same time, oof. Look, oof. So Angela was in the comment section. Oh, wait, did she delete her tweets? She might have deleted. Wait, how come I can't see it now? Because she was in the comment section. Oh, you know what? I think the person that she was responding to deleted their tweets because there was a lot of back and forth. But Angela was in the comment section because the person was saying that Angela was being very particular with the words that she was using, meaning that she lost $2 million worth of assets. Angela was in there responding, no, I lost $2 million of my money. I was like, oh, and you got to have millions to lose millions. Damn, I should have screenshotted it. I didn't realize the person probably was feeling attacked by all the people, all the Angela stands, the Fangelas. All right, so let me get back to this. All these little sidebars, but they're related. They're all related, right? Okay. So Pinky is talking about her Chapter 7, about why she couldn't file for Chapter 7 and Chapter 13. And Shamia reacts to it. Angela reacts to it and talks about saying that she lost $2 million of her own money and that she doesn't owe anyone. She says, that's not my ministry. And look, does anyone want to lose $2 million? No. No one wants to lose that, but she wants to make it clear. That's not my ministry. All right. Moving on from there. What else happens in here? So they're on the flight. Oh, Angela did file for bankruptcy to stop the foreclosure of one of her properties. And she was getting ahead of it because she knew all this information was already out there. All right. K. Michelle is talking about Dr. Caston, her husband. And she reveals that she has no prenup. Because someone asked, I don't know if it was Cynthia that asked the question, do you have a prenup with Caston? She's no. And then she starts to talk about how she believes that every man cheats. She talks about how that he doesn't have any social media, but that's the sneakiest one of them all, the ones without social media. And I was like, well, she's right, because before social media, men were still cheating. But okay. Here's the thing. K. Michelle talks about how she doesn't trust any man. And this man has been dragging her along for how many years before she had to do all these stunts and shows to get him to marry her. And I just don't see the future in this relationship. It's based off of K. Michelle's sensitivities and issues that she's had in the past with relationships and with this particular person. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. But all right. So they go from the private jet. Why are we taking so many modes of transportation? So they go from the private jet. Now we're in the Sprinter. I believe production was trying to be slick here. Because according to Cynthia, she was like, we only have 20 more minutes. And it feels like someone said, they're driving in circles. I believe they were driving in circles. Because why did it take us over an hour after Cynthia said 20 more minutes? Elliot says, so why not a prenup? I don't know. She got mad when we brought it up on social media. Something that she said and confirmed in that video. From that scene, she got mad. She retweeted. Remember we talked about this last week? She retweeted my tweet where I was showing the episode preview that was on social media. And I just said, literally, K. Michelle reveals that she has no prenup with Dr. Caston. So she reposts and do you? Ma'am, I am repeating what you said in the video. That wasn't even a clapback or shade. But again, it goes back to the sensitivities of K. Michelle. But all right. Moving on. Okay. So they go from the private jet to the Sprinter. The group asked Drew about her date. I said this on X last night, and I'm going to say it again here during our recap. I don't care about Drew and Black. Drew keeps downplaying that it's even anything. So if it's not anything, then I don't care about it. What stood out to me, though, Drew's, she talked to K. Michelle. Oh, that's your friend. And K. Michelle's, I don't know that man. And then they show K. Michelle talking about Black and him being in her DMs and things like that. Here's the thing. I'm going to defend K. Michelle here. Her saying, I don't know that man, based on how she described her interactions with Black, I could see where I don't know that man. First of all, she's a married woman. I don't want you to be like talking about my hot pocket and meaning or associating us in that kind of way. So I got what she was saying, that she doesn't really know him like that. I think it's just the way that she said it, meaning she doesn't know him at all. But I wouldn't say, I would probably be like, we're not friends. I just know of him. And that's what she says in her confession. I'm just like, I know of him, but I don't know that man. And I was like, okay. And everyone has a different explanation. We talked about this last season with Charles Oakley. And Phaedra saying that she knows him and she's been in the same rooms with him. And he was like, that don't mean you know me. That doesn't mean that we've met. All right. Ms. Barker said that K. Michelle pulled a Nene in that moment. But it's true. I got what she was saying. I don't really know that man. I know of him. He's been in my DMs. He's trying to get to know me. But I've never entertained him. We've never been on a date. We've never hung out. And that's based on what, I don't know if they've ever hung out, but based on the way she's described their interactions, her and Black, K. Michelle and Black, it doesn't sound like she knows that man. It sounds like that man's been in her DMs. Does that mean someone? Please explain to me if y'all think that. But all right, moving on from there. Let me see. Oh, Shamia talked about how because they stop at a truck stop. So apparently Shamia's family owned a trucking business. And that's a very good business. I don't know if you guys know, owning a trucking business can be very lucrative. But she talked about, this is where, see, I always tell you this about Shamia. Shamia is always going to be cringe. We literally see Shamia at the truck stop in the people's store mimicking peeing in a cup. I said, this lady can never. Just when she's giving us a moment of my biggest issue is making sure I make it through the drive-through so I can catch a breakfast at Chick-fil-A, and then showing us this big fabulous home, and then we're at the damn truck stop and she's mimicking peeing in a cup, and I'm just like, I can't with Shamia. I try and I just can't. Just when I think I can, I can't. All right. And then I wrote down, why is this drive so long? Literally, Cynthia says, we only have 20 more minutes. And everyone's okay, all right. And someone also says, are we driving in circles? I believe they were driving in circles to produce this moment. Because why is it taking so damn long? I don't know. But all right, let's move on. So the group arrives to the property. The property is gorgeous. What did you guys think of this property? Cynthia, you did good. But Cynthia, next time when you walk into the property, you have to act like you've been there before or you knew what you were walking into. You need to play into it, Cynthia. You are a veteran, okay? Cynthia could not help when she walked into Casa de Fe. She was just like, oh my God. Cynthia, you're hosting this trip, okay? You got to walk in. Come on in, everyone. Look how fabulous this place is. Cynthia walked in and she was like, oh my God. Cynthia could not help herself. I was just like, oh my God. But it was a very beautiful home. It's an estate though, because there is the tiny house that's on the property. There's acreage to the property. There's also the pool house. We are going to get to the pool house of it all. I don't know if this is a pre-produced moment or these women are just annoying. I don't know. You guys will let me know what you think about this. And I'm not saying that they should live in dirt, okay? But what I'm saying is it didn't look that dirty to me. Yes, if there was an issue, I'd be like, okay, Cynthia, can you have someone come in here and clean this up? But I'm okay with us being in our own property. But this just tells you a lot more about Shamia and Kelly's perspective. But I don't know. It felt like it was a reach. Exactly. Miss Neen said Cynthia's fanned out. It's a gorgeous property, though. They walked in and we saw this property. The main house has 6 bedrooms, has all kinds of things. It was a gorgeous property. And the rooms in there definitely look better than the pool house, though. I will say that. Just in their defense, in Kelly and Shamia's defense, the pool house rooms in comparison to the rooms in the main house definitely did not look as good. I'll say that. But we have the pool. We have our own property. Our own space. I don't feel like the pool house was like you're going into twin bunk bedrooms. You know what I mean? And again, Portia said this too. There's so much acreage here. We're not going to be spending most of our times in our rooms anyway, especially on a girls' trip that's being filmed. It would be different if it was like, oh, I'm going to this place and we're not filming this. We're not working. We're spending a lot of time on the property. And even then, there's so many parts to the property. You're not spending that much time in your room. It's a group trip too. But all right. Singer GST says they were being Debbie Downers. I feel like they were reaching to have some sort of moment. I think they were reaching to have a moment, but I also felt like they felt separated from the group and it hurt their egos. They felt like they were being punished, like they were on the outs with the group. I think their egos were hurt. They wanted to be in the house, especially Shamia, who's been on the show a long time. Kelly has been on, she's no longer a newbie. So it's like, why am I being put into the pool house? The pool house was supposed to be like the bad house. And I don't think it was bad. And they had the beautiful pool. And they had that big opening that led out to the pool. I was like, okay, this is nice. Okay, if there was dirt, because then they did show the different things that were dirty. There was a mark on the bed. Okay, these are white sheets. Sometimes that happens. Have them come change the sheets. But how do I know that wasn't Kelly? Maybe she got a little body tan on or something. How do I know it wasn't Kelly? But then there was stuff in the sink, and then there was stuff on the toilet, and then there was stuff on the ceiling fan. Okay, now y'all being very particular with the ceiling fan part. Okay? So, sidebar, Cynthia, you did a good job because I would have put them in that house by themselves too. They're the loudest. They're the cringiest. I wouldn't want that in the main house. Cynthia did good. Are we happy about go all the way over there by the pool house so you guys can scream and twerk and do all those things over there. Cynthia did the right thing. The grown-ups are going to be in the main house. I think we gave we gave Pinky the tiny house because, yeah, we don't really love her energy either. Okay. All right. Exactly. Patrick Mommy says, have housekeeping coming clean. And and I felt like they were complaining about it before saying anything to Cynthia. And then they eventually said something to Cynthia. Rahina says, yes, go to Cynthia. Just like Cynthia, there are certain, but again, their grievances, I'm not saying that they should have to live like that. Their grievances felt like they were small in comparison. When we just got off a Potomac trip where they didn't have water, okay? where the air conditioning wasn't working. Like, I understand those grievances. I definitely understand that. Miss Kelly says, not scream and twerk. But that's what they're going to be doing over there. Yeah, Cynthia, put them all the way over there. Please and thank you. Ooh. Mr. Melon Magic says, tiny like bank account, allegedly. Miss Nee says, K. Michelle should have been put out too. Here's the thing. I would have put K. Michelle. It would have been a toss-up. I would have either put K. Michelle in the tiny house or in the main house. But the way that K. Michelle at this particular point has been moving, I don't think Cynthia noticed it yet. Because based on what I would have seen, I would have put K. Michelle in the tiny house so she can be by herself, to be honest with you. But all right, let's move on. All right, sidebar. They are still, remember I pointed this out a couple of weeks ago, that on Peacock, they're still showing, what season was this where they were all wearing black? What season was that, guys? Can y'all remind me? They still are using that thumbnail for Real Housewives of Atlanta, which includes Nene. I thought that was really interesting. Y'all don't think that was... It's still that. I pointed it out. I haven't reported it to Peacock because I'm here for it. Season 12, thank you, Rainy Circus. They're still using that with Nene's face. And then they showed Nene in this week's episode. And I know the Nene fans are going to be like, Nene's coming back. Nene's coming back. But now I'm starting to believe it, y'all. I'm like, we know Nene's has filmed Ultimate Girls Trip. Is that going to be a segue into Nene returning next season? I don't know. But now the clues are giving me maybe. I still think they should do a Real Housewives of Atlanta legacy. But I don't want them to do a legacy without Kenya. And they're not going to be able to do one with Kenya until this Britt Edie lawsuit is settled. So I don't want them to do a Real Housewives of Atlanta legacy with the Ultimate Girls Trip like they did with Roni. Sidebar, did you guys see I haven't seen the Golden Life preview. They just released the preview. I didn't get a chance because I was watching Atlanta. But for those that didn't know, you can watch it on I'm sure OMFG Reality TV has it on their X right now. Okay? Felicia says that's a clear sign. Before they refused to show Nene. Remember that? They refused to show Nene, but now they've been showing more Nene moments recently. And this week's episode, because when Cynthia is talking about hosting a girls trip, they showed a scene between Nene and Cynthia. And it was mostly Nene speaking in the scene. All right. So we're getting a tour of the space. They show this clip of Nene and Cynthia. The main house has 6 bedrooms. There's a tiny house, and then there's a pool house. The pool house has 2 bedrooms. And Cynthia's already setting us up with, I'm going to put the people that can't be without each other. I already knew. When she said they can't be without each other, I already knew. Yes, there are certain people in this group that are close, but Shamia and Kelly are the only ones calling themselves besties. Just saying. Then we start this room selection process. Cynthia, I was a little frustrated with the room selection process. Weren't you guys also a little frustrated? It just felt like we were dragging this out. It felt like too much of a ceremony as opposed to, we are grown. We're not going to make a big deal. This is what it is. But I get it. This is them producing a moment. They've always done this with room selection on certain shows. So Cynthia puts Pinky in the tiny house, which is fine. It's a house. It's the tiny house, but it's a house. I would prefer it, but that's my personality. I would prefer being in a house by myself. Again, if I'm going to share a room with someone, I'm glad it's not going to be with Pinky and Kelly. Not Pinky, Shamia and Kelly, because they're loud and obnoxious and they would be twerking all over the place. Okay? But put them together. I would have wanted to be in the tiny house. But that's me. So Cynthia puts Pinky in the tiny house. Cynthia then announces that she's going to put Shamia and Kelly in the pool house. Okay? Here's the thing. And immediately Shamia and Kelly are like, we got the worst room. Because when they went to go look at the different spaces, even K. Michelle's like, I wouldn't want to be in this place. And I'm like, why? It didn't look as good as the other space. However, it wasn't that bad. It was also a separate house. You're not sharing, especially because some of y'all don't like sharing space or never been on a girls trip. I wouldn't mind being in there with my bestie, Westie. But okay. So Shamia, she feels like she's got the raw end of the deal. They're like, this is the worst room. They're already rolling their eyes. They're like, what did I do to Cynthia? I don't think Cynthia really is the one who chose the rooms. Maybe she'll talk about this on her podcast, but I don't think she's the one who really chose the rooms. I think that was production. But even if she did, I don't feel like Cynthia had ill intentions. She was like, you guys are best friends. I'm going to put y'all together. There's an opportunity here. Is this Cynthia being influenced by Portia? Could be. But she also knows that Portia doesn't get along with Kelly and Shamia right now. So why would she put them in the main house? So that also makes more sense too. But all right, fine. Mr. Melvin Magic said it's better than James Earl Jones' accommodations. Lord. Speaking of James Earl Jones, Angel just announced that she's got this new collaboration with Homeworthy. And you remember I talked about Angel from Potomac's Homeworthy that she did about her home in Colorado. So now she has this new collaboration with Homeworthy here on YouTube, on the YouTube street. So congratulations to Angel. She won't be coming back to Potomac, but she's going to continue to work and do the things that she loves. So good for her. All right. That was a sidebar. So Shamia and Kelly are upset with their accommodations. All right. And then Cynthia says, everyone else, you get to choose your rooms in the main house. Then they start running for rooms. I never liked seeing people run for rooms. So if you watch all these other cities on the Real Housewives franchise, we don't see some of these cities running for rooms. All the rooms are usually great rooms. So they start running for the rooms and claiming their rooms. All right. Winter says, Kempire, you said it first. You manifested this for Angel. She's welcome. She's welcome. All right. So they run for their rooms. Kelly and Shamia run for their rooms. Kelly says that there's a stain on the bed. And at first I was like, I don't see the stain. But then they showed when Kelly and Shamia FaceTime with Gerald and they're complaining about the rooms. Then that's when we get to see all the different things that were happening in the room that were going on. So Angela comes over to visit the women, Shamia and Kelly, and to check on them because she knew that they weren't happy about their rooms. So they're complaining about the rooms, and they were like, we're not the only best friends in here. Angela, when she said they couldn't be without each other, I already knew that she was talking about you guys. So she's like, why isn't it freaking Frack over here? And Kelly's Frack is whack. Kelly, you have a lot of mouth, not in front of Portia. And that just felt like, why are we doing that? And I'm not surprised that frickin' Frack are with Cynthia. She's known them longer than she's known you guys. So I'm not surprised that she put you guys in the pool house. It's not a bad pool house. Miss Mellon Madge said Gerald didn't care. He was laughing at them when she FaceTimed him. So Kelly started, you saw it though, if you pay attention to Shamia, she's speaking for herself, so she moves away from Kelly because she doesn't want to cause any issues between her and Portia. Kelly says Frack is whack, and I guess Frack is supposed to be Portia. But Kelly also says that Phaedra's riding with her friend, so she whack too. Angela is taking in all this information, and Angela's taking in all the information, and Kelly already knows that Angela's going to run over and tell the other women. At least she knows. And then she says in her commercial, and they add the sound effects of Angela running over. Ooh. I was like, y'all need to stop that with Angela. So she knows she's going to run back and tell them. At least she knows. And that's exactly what Angela did. She ran back and told them. So everyone is starting to get dressed and ready for dinner. However, Shamia and Kelly are not going to dinner because they're like, we didn't even change our clothes. The pool house is dirty. They FaceTime with Gerald. They're showing him all the things. They say that they're in the outhouse. Y'all are doing a lot. This is far from an outhouse. We've seen a lot worse accommodations on Real Housewives of Atlanta specifically. However, this was not an outhouse. I'm almost offended for the people that own this property that you would even call their pool house an outhouse. I don't feel it was as bad as they were making it out. However, they did show the places where they were dirty. There was a little bit of a mark. It looked like the mark that was on the toilet seat was when they were cleaning. However, we're right with it. Call Cynthia and let Cynthia know that you would like for them to come over and fix the things. Call Cynthia and let her know. All right, before we continue, guys, today's brought to you by our friends over at Factor. Okay, I get it. It's not a new year, but it can still be a new you, as we've partnered with Factor many times, and this is no different. But let me paint a picture for you. Hunger strikes, and you're exhausted. I know it, especially on a busy day. There's something healthy in your fridge or pantry that you should be making, but you don't have it in you. Relatable, right? For me, eating healthy isn't a willpower problem. It's a setup problem until I found Factor. As I have a busy schedule, sometimes there's breaking news and I do not have the time in me to cook that meal or prepare for that meal. With Factor, I'm hitting my nutrition goals this season without the planning, grocery shopping, or cooking. What I also love about Factor is that you're getting great quality meals, dietitian approved meals. Factor has meals built around your goals, whether that's weight loss, overall nutrition, more protein, or GLP-1 support. For strength and workout recovery, check out Factor's Muscle Pro collection. As I've mentioned many times before, Factor meals are crafted with functional ingredients from lean proteins, colorful veggie, whole foods, and healthy fats. Factor bans 175 plus ingredients, no artificial colors, no sweeteners, no high fructose corn syrup, and no refined seed oils. And most importantly, convenience. Ready in 2 minutes, Factor shops, preps, cooks, and delivers straight to your door so you have more time for everything you love this spring. Head to factormeals.com/Kempire50 off and use code Kempire50 off to get 50% off and free daily greens per box with new subscription only while supplies last until September 27th, 2026. See website for more details. More details on Factor and your discounts will be available in the description. Thanks, Factor. And we're back, guys. Don't forget to like today's video. We are recapping the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Don't forget, you can also hear a cleaned up, edited version of our live recaps and special exclusive episodes on the Kempire podcast. Subscribe today, and don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. I also launched our new mailing list, guys. So if you want to be the first to know about anything and any tour dates, things like that, join our mailing list today. Head on over to thekempire.com/join. That's thekempire.com/join. Let me say thank you. We had a couple of super chats. First of all, Wavekeep said, thank you for being a member. Wavekeep says, y'all would hate to travel with me because everything better be spotless and perfect, or I'm speaking to a manager. I'm low-key a Karen. A Kenren. All right. You're also a Virgo, so that doesn't shock me. But here's the thing. That's different, too. I feel like we're talking about a reality show. So I just feel like the expectations are a little bit different because, again, you're not spending a lot of time in your room either. But am I also saying that Shamia and Kelly are wrong for wanting those things cleaned up? I feel like they were already doing too much before they even saw those different things. Ken, thank you so much for the super chat, Keith. Keith says, Auntie Phaedra went from looking like a church deaconess to now being a geriatric Fashion Nova model. It's easy to read in the confessionals when the ghostwriter can't be in the scenes with her. And Keith's not lying, because some of these housewives have had people feed them lines in their confessionals. Rahina, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Rahina says, yes, go scream and twerk in the pool house and go be cringe there. If we were on this trip, don't y'all want Shamia and Kelly in the pool house? Because they're going to be yelling and loud and stuff like that. And I already know Auntie Cynthia is probably like, they loud too? Nope. We're going to put them, and they get along. I'm going to put y'all together in the pool house. Good, Cynthia. Good. Thank you, Rahina. Bravel Dad, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Bravel says Portia called Kelly Puddin'. But no, she was talking about K. Michelle. Did you see when they flashed to K. Michelle when she said Puddin'? I don't think she was talking about Kelly. She was talking about K. Michelle because that's K. Michelle's nickname. All right, Miss Parker, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Miss Parker says Shamia is not only the Countess of Cringe, she is the unrivaled queen of Try Hard, the matriarch of Misstep. Team Too Much. Return to sender. Damn. All right. Miss Esquire, thank you so much for another super chat. Let me shimmy because you sent $20. Thank you. Miss Esquire says, people will sleep in a bed covered with clothes and haven't washed their bathroom rugs in months, but will judge an estate for small issues. As someone who owns a short term, I can't stand this kind of mentality. Oh, I can only imagine what you've dealt with. I can only imagine, Miss Esquire. You're right. And that's why I felt for the property. I'm not saying that they shouldn't come and clean those things, But to make such a big issue of a pool house that actually didn't look that bad. And Cynthia says that too. She's like, when we did the walkthrough, I know dirty. And I didn't get dirty from that space. And mind you, this seems to become an issue the entire trip to the point where Cynthia has to she gets into it with Shamia and Kelly because they keep bringing it up. Toya says, stop the Shamia shade. I'm tired of it. Tell Shamia to leave us alone. There would be no Shamia shade if she decided not to come back and just enjoy her fabulous life with Gerald. Just saying. Noda Queen, thank you so much for being a member for 13 months. Noda Queen says, no sympathy for hoot and holler. They can stay in the outhouse. Yeah, Miss Esquire says, cleanliness is one thing. Not liking the aesthetic is another. Exactly. And I think they didn't like the aesthetic, and so they were looking for reasons not to like the property. Oh, Tiara says, so Miss Esquire, I just washed my bathroom rugs yesterday. Are people not washing? Okay, I shouldn't be surprised because people aren't washing their bed sheets quite often enough. I forgot. I saw someone's video. I forgot how long ago it was. I forgot how long she said she hadn't washed her bed sheets. I was like, wow. It was like months. That's gross. That is gross. But anyway, we've digressed. All right, let me move on. Let me get back to my notes because I know a lot of you want to call in and share your thoughts on the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get back into this dinner, okay? So Shamia and Kelly are complaining to Gerald. Then we get to see all the different things that were dirty. Apparently the stain on the bed, dirty sink, toilet. There was a little mark on the toilet. Again, call someone. Have it fixed. I understand. Pinky reveals that Kelly, Shamia, and so Pinky arrives at the dinner. So everyone's arriving at the dinner, but she tells Portia and the other ladies that Shamia and Kelly are not going to come to dinner because they didn't even change their clothes. Their room is very dirty. She apparently went over to check on them, and that's when she found out. She also went to check on K. Michelle, and K. Michelle says she isn't coming to dinner because she doesn't have glam. I would have understood K. Michelle not coming to dinner because she doesn't have glam if she didn't go and hang out with Shamia and Kelly. And I'm thinking to myself, like, but if you are so insecure, because she says that she doesn't have glam, she doesn't like that because she can't do her hair and makeup herself. Understandable. What happened to your glam? Did you not set up glam? Did they miss their flight? What happened? But at the same time, I'm like, but you are still filming, so it's not like it'd be different if they were going out somewhere, but they were coming to the table, and I get it. Everyone else is getting dressed up and whatnot. But if Kelly and Shamia end up going, you end up going there, but you don't sit down to eat. I didn't get it. It felt a little dramatic. It felt like she was being very sensitive. She looked fine to me, but I get it. What looks fine to me may not be fine to her. But okay. But I also found it just weird. I was like, okay, but if you don't want to film this group scene, then why are we going over here filming another scene with the part of the group? I was a little confused by that, but fine. You don't want to film because you don't have your glam. It's fine. We've seen other housewives get really dramatic about not having glam. At least she didn't get dramatic. She was just like, I'm not going to come to dinner because I don't have my glam. She looked fine to me, but whatever. Exactly. Keena says she was still filming. That was crazy. That's what confused me because I felt like she would have stayed in her room. Yes, they would have filmed her in the room, but I felt like it's starting to feel very much like what Portia said in her Carlos King interview in regards to the teams. And it was clear what we were seeing in this moment with K. Michelle and Shamia and Kelly. Like, oh, so this is her team now. I was like, okay, but fine. You don't feel comfortable. You don't feel comfortable. And Patrick Mommy says, but she did go. She ends up, Kelly, and Shamia end up going to the dinner, but she doesn't sit down. She's like, I'm going to go because y'all look fabulous, but I look a mess. She didn't look a mess, but again, that's how she felt. And she ends up leaving. Girl, you're already there. You're already filming. Sit down, eat, have a girl's moment. You can emphasize to us, I don't have my glam, and then be done. Just sit down and have a moment. I think she didn't want to film with the group for whatever reason. But we're getting a lot of moments with K. Michelle walking away from group scenes, just saying. Very Fire says, that was dumb. Throw on lipstick. You already made up for cameras. She didn't feel it. She didn't feel comfortable enough. Rahina says, wrong road, Kay. I already feel like that's where we're going to go with K. Michelle, but I'm still going to keep an open mind. Look, I'm going to keep an open mind until I don't. I'm going to keep an open mind. Look, until I don't. But okay. All right. Toya says they have a makeup artist in Dallas too. I don't know if she planned for that and it fell through. Things happen with glam. Maybe she was going to fly in her own glam and maybe they were late. Maybe her glam for Dallas could not find this. I don't know. I don't think it was that big of a deal, but fine. Whatever. Tyree says, is Kay a high maintenance friend? Oh, yeah, I'm sure, because she's very sensitive. I'm sure she's a high maintenance friend. Patrick Mommy says Kay is giving performative at this point. I'm going to keep an open mind. Okay. I'm going to keep an open mind. Super 7 says, I hate to say it, but I think Kay is intimidated. Maybe. Everyone's glammed up. Everyone's fabulous. And she wants to come in looking fabulous. I get it. But Rahina says she wanted her own glam. And did they not have, the other ladies, did they not have glam people there? And I'm not saying that she would want to use any of their glam either, but okay. Fine. She says she's not good at doing her own glam. Fine. Anyways, we've spent way too much time on this than I even wanted to spend. All right. So K. Michelle goes over with some whiskey to Kelly and Shamia. And she's checking on them, and she talks about not having her glam and blah, blah, blah. And they talk about how the rooms are dirty, and the pool house is dirty. So Kelly starts talking about what she's been going through. She gets emotional. This is around the time when her ex-husband had the press conference. We talked about this, and how he doesn't want the kids filming, so you won't see the kids this season on the show. And so she gets emotional about that. So Shamia says to Kelly, you're always trying to be the strong one for everyone in your life. And you should allow them to be strong for you. And meaning that they're going to try and be supportive of Kelly. So Kelly gets emotional. She's crying and Puddin's holding her. And she's like, it's okay. It's all right. Okay. Anyway, Cynthia says that she spoke to Kelly and Shamia and that they didn't have the same energy because Pinky's back at the table. Pinky's energy definitely was giving like she's mad for Shamia and Kelly. It was definitely giving, when you pay attention to it, Pinky's energy was definitely given, you know what I mean? It was a lot. It not maybe like that, but when you rewatch it, because at first when I watched it last night, I was like, wait, I don't really think it was like that. But then when I rewatched, I was like, I don't know. It's giving a little attitude-ish for Shamia and Kelly. Cynthia's was like, and again, we're watching an edited version of this because it could have been a lot worse. Cynthia's like, when I spoke to Shamia and Kelly, they weren't giving this same type of energy. Okay. But Pinky then says, but I love my room. I love my tiny house. So thank you, Cynthia. Angela wants to know, wait, hold on. I don't want to miss certain things in my notes. Okay, so Angela reveals that Kelly and Shamia, so Angela reveals what Kelly and Shamia said when she went to go visit them at the pool house or the outhouse. And we already knew that she was going to do this and how she called Phaedra and Portia whack. And Portia's like, why we gotta be whack? Phaedra's like, why am I whack? What did I do? And then that's when Phaedra refers to Shamia and Kelly. We're the best. What alcohol she referred to them as in regards to her and Portia. And she was like, they're Andre. They're Ren and Stimpy. It definitely was giving that energy. And production, thank you for the moment when she calls them Ren and Stimpy, shows this moment. Because again, they are just proving why Cynthia put them in the outhouse. Because y'all are running over on the pool side. So when she called them Ren and Stimpy, the edit shows Ren and Stimpy, Pinky, Shamia, and Kelly. I was like, this is exactly why you guys are over there at the outhouse. This is exactly why. Don't nobody want to hear y'all screaming and twerking this entire time. This is why y'all over there, Ren and Stimpy. So Angela Bone Collector Oakley brings them that information, and they're confused. So Pinky brings up Portia saying that Kelly slept with a married man. And Portia says what the information I brought was true. She said the same exact thing about me, except it was not true. Okay, Portia. Angela was like, I want to know the appeal of effing someone's husband. She's as the wife, I don't get it. She said the same. She says, and she finds it interesting. And Portia's bringing this up when just last season, Portia was saying that she wanted to F my husband, or maybe she should F my husband. I have to say, Angela, you're right. Because we literally said that last week too. What's this conversation about effing people's husbands? And why are we using that as a weapon, like to justify her bringing it up to you? All right. Then Portia's, okay, we talking about all this stuff, but is everyone else good here at the table? So Portia is spearheading a conversation about, so she's, Phaedra, are you and Pinky good? So Pinky addresses Phaedra allegedly saying that she eats meat. And Phaedra's, I never said that. I said that you owned a Jamaican restaurant. And then Shamia, cringy, the Countess of Cringe, in her confessional, basically owns the fact, like, Phaedra would remember, because Phaedra's probably recording with her Apple Watch what was actually said. So she's, I'm going to have to do another apology. I have to say that made me laugh. I'm going to have to do another apology video. So in real time, Shamia probably told by production, yeah, Phaedra never said that. So Shamia's, Lord, I could have sworn that's what she said, only for when they play it back. And you could tell that Shamia was protecting Kelly, because at no particular point does she even bring up the fact that Kelly is the one that said it. Because Kelly says, oh, I saw her eat steak. And mind you, Pinky's over here defending Shamia and Kelly, and they're the root of carrying this bone about her eating meat. Just saying. Pinky says they addressed the issue with Phaedra. But Phaedra says Pinky's got her priorities misplaced, because you're dealing with not paying your rent and you worried about people saying that you eat meat. And she was like, you need to get delivered. I have to agree with her, though. Especially when Phaedra says, I never said that, and there's no proof that I said that. We know who actually said it. It was Kelly, and I'm sure it will be discovered later on in the season. So Cynthia leaves the dinner table, and she goes to check on Kelly and Shamia. And she says, I don't recall these rooms being dirty. When we did the walkthrough, I don't recall these rooms being dirty. But she's like, you know what? They're going to come over here and take care of it. All right. Then we get into this fight. So we're back at the table. And Angela and Pinky end up getting into it. And I don't even know how they end up getting into it. But I think it's because Angela was just like, you're coming across a lot right now in defense of Shamia and Kelly. And she really was, because it felt like she was being their spokesperson. And I don't think they needed a spokesperson. It wasn't that deep. They complained about the room. They spoke to Cynthia. Cynthia is trying to get it resolved. Why is Pinky acting like Captain Save-A-Ho in regards to defending them at the table? Because no one is saying anything derogatory about them at the table. Unless we're missing something. I just found it to be interesting why Pinky was still talking about it. So Angela says that, so they end up getting into it. Angela, in the replay, because I replayed it multiple times, I will give this to Pinky. Pinky held her own. She was taking those licks. But if this was a physical fight, Pinky was trying to get some licks in with Angela, but it was like her hands were swinging like this. Her hands were swinging like this. And Angela was holding her head like this, like just holding her head, and she's still swinging. You know what I'm saying? But Angela, anytime Angela spoke, Angela would get a hit in. She would be like holding her back, and she would, look, Angela got her good multiple times, because Angela said, I could throw a rock and hit 10 people you owe. Coco said she's just windmilling for her life. OMG, but I'm on this, Pinky, you held your own, though. You held your own. I'm not saying that you did not help. I don't feel like you took an L, but Angela got you. She kept on getting you. She said, and this was like a classic Housewives of Atlanta moment. So you girls, you did your thing. So I'm giving you your credit. You made this episode what it is. Not the veterans, even though I will give Phaedra. Phaedra made me laugh a few moments. But Angela and Pinky in this moment, I was just like, oh, okay. Angela said, I could throw a rock and hit 10 people you owe. Angela then brings up that you owe people your employees. And she's like, no, I don't. No, I don't. Even though that was the accusation at the time. As I reported to you guys earlier today, the news came out that Pinky's former CFO has been indicted in the state of Georgia for money laundering, stealing from her company. Okay? So Angela brings up that report because that was in the streets. Okay? Pinky denies it. And so Pinky's throwing out these accusations to Angela, talking about her husband doesn't love her and blah, 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 blah. She's coming at Angela and her being an older woman and hot flashes and all kinds of stuff. So Angela's, okay, Mr. Clean, don't do it, Papa Smurf. So for those of you that say that Angela is overhyped, no, she's not. She proved it in this moment that she is not overhyped. Okay? Pinky talks about Angela's overbite. And I was like, does Angela have an overbite? And then Angela was so quick with it. That's why I said that, Pinky, you were holding your own. But you were windmilling, and Angela had her hand on top of your tennis ball. Look, I blurred the camera. Look, had her hand like this on top of your head. Okay? And you windmilling, but you getting some licks in. I'm not saying you're not getting some licks in. And so she says, oh, Angela and her overbite. Angela returns with, not the way that your teeth commingling, those incestuous teeth. She said Pinky's teeth are commingling. I had to take a closer look at Pinky's teeth. And I said, oh. They're not bad. They're not bad. But you can't sit there and talk about people's teeth unless your teeth are perfect. Okay? She said... Angela said, your teeth are co-mingling, those incestuous teeth. She said her teeth are incestuous. You know what that means? Look, she said those co-mingling teeth. What? Danny says incestuous teeth took me out. I was not ready for that. I said... Singer Dynasty says, I can't breathe, Kempire. I have tears in my eyes. Lord, if you're at work right now, I apologize. But this is what happens. You saw the fight. Mr. Melon Magic says, co-mingling is wild. But at the same time, I'm looking at the teeth and I'm like, I didn't notice that Angela may have had an overbite. But when she said, because Angela was quick with it, she was like, I know you not talking with your co-mingling teeth, your incestuous teeth. OMG. And that's why I said Angela was holding her by the tennis ball. She was holding Pinky by the tennis ball. All right? My nails good? Look, yeah. I gotta go for my manicure. Shush. Don't be talking about my nails. Let me talk about your teeth, your incestuous teeth. Angela would have survived with the OGs of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Point blank, period. Angela would have survived with the OGs. She would have survived. I was here for it. Millie says Angela is very observant. She is a Taurus. We are, and it's so funny you say that. We are in a very observant sign. And please understand, we don't say a lot. There's a lot that we could say. So when you activate us, watch out. And that's exactly what you're seeing. She said incestuous teeth. But they weren't done. Pinky brings up Angela's lash glue. She was like, you better be worried about your lash glue, blah, 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 blah. And Angela was quick with it. The lash glue that you borrowed? That is a read, because sometimes the fact of a situation is the read. What, the lash glue that you had to borrow? Yeah, come on, Angela. Angela won this fight. I'm not going to hold you. Pinky, you gave up a good fight. But you lost this one. Okay? Pinky then says that Angela's husband doesn't even like her. And I'm not going to say she went too far because you're fighting in this situation, and you're talking about her businesses. But she says, your husband doesn't even like you. Angela was ready for her. And I don't know if this was based in truth or Angela was just talking out of nowhere. She was like, but we don't have a live-in wife in the basement. Everyone, wait a minute. Portia's bangle comes off in the confessional. She's, wait, a wife in the basement? Kelly makes a joke, and you want to talk about a wife in the basement. However, you might have a wife in the basement too, and you just don't know it. I said, what you trying to say? What you trying to say? Dootsy says that Angela is a sniper. She doesn't even hit often, but when she does, she never misses. Angela doesn't hit often, but please understand, when she's going to make that, she's going to hit. Chef Lorraine, y'all know I don't do that stuff. Chef Lorraine says, Kempire, if I didn't know better, I think you smoked a J before you got on today because you are in rare form. The giggles and all, you got me going. Here's the thing. When an episode is good, you're going to get a good, funny moment from me. We're always going to have a good time here during our recap. So shout out to all of our members. It is a members only live chat. Become a member today at teamkempire.com/join. Also join our mailing list because there's some really cool things coming up that will be exclusively revealed via the mailing list. So become a member, subscribe to our mailing list at thekempire.com/join. thekempire.com/join. Mods, if we can post the link again in the chat so people can join, and I'll pin it. All right. Let me say thank you because we had quite a few super chats because I don't want this fight to be over. I don't want this recap to be over. This fight was sending me. Dr. Miss Honey, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Dr. Miss Honey says, I love K. Michelle, but her sensitivity and reactivity is giving Tamar, and that's not a good thing. And it's so funny, Tamar and K. Michelle have always had this beef. It's probably because they're very much alike. I agree with you, Dr. Miss Honey. Like, I've enjoyed K. Michelle over the years. I was looking forward. Roll the tape. I was looking forward to her being on the show, but the humdrum of it all, being that sensitive, I don't know. I'm keeping an open mind though. Noda Queen, thank you so much for another super chat. Noda Queen, and for being a member. Noda Queen says, Kay is too big and grown to not know how to do her hair and makeup while being that dependent on it. You got a point. Twanda Don, where you been? Twanda Don, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Twanda Don says, hey, Kempire, the episode was good. This episode was good. Just finished the episode now, listening to you, friend. Have a great week. You too, Twanda Don. It was good. This was a good episode. I have to say, you know what? I'm going to get, based off of this fight is going to make me give this episode a 9. I'm not going to give them a 10 yet, y'all. I'm not. Oh, I guess I could give them a 10. I could give them a 10 because this episode, I'm giving the episode a 10. The episode was a 10 because this fight alone really saved it for me. And look, there were some other moments earlier that were good. Miss Afro Gorgeous, thank you so much for the super chat. Miss Afro Gorgeous says, my favorite line of the whole episode, I can throw a rock and hit 10 people you owe. Yes, Angela. I could throw a rock. And hit 10 people you owe. Right? That's hilarious. That was hilarious. All right. Rahina, thank you so much for this. Rahina, are you watching us while you work? Or are you off today? I'm not judging. I'm just asking. Rahina is usually part of our replay crew. Rahina, thank you so much for the super chat. Rahina says, I think Pinky lost, but maybe by 1 point. Not by 1 point. She gave up a good fight. I'm not going to say that she didn't give a good fight. There were a couple of bruises on Angela's knees. But that's about it. Okay? Oh, no, you are working. Rahina, thank you so much for another super chat. Rahina says, let's hope my 1 p.m. patient cancels so I don't have to leave the live. The patient needs you, Rahina, and we appreciate you being here. Don't get me wrong. But your patient might need you more than us. You'll be a part of the replay crew, though. We need a replay crew, people, all right? Do you know what Rainey says? She lost by the teeth alone. She said, you got incestuous teeth. They've been reading Pinky this entire season. Between Phaedra, Angela, like they've been just reading her down. Millie says Pinky went 6 rounds, but it was KO'd at the end. Oh my gosh, I can't. All right, we got bills to pay, guys. Shout out to our friends over at RHOA for sponsoring today's live recap of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I know you're probably tired of hearing people say, new year, new me. However, it can be a new year and a new you. Everyone is trying to get back into the gym. They're trying to do some weight loss things. You may have also heard of GLP-1s. Our friends over at RHOA has gotten you covered with the new GLP-1 pill. The pill is a new, more convenient and approachable way to GLP-1s if you've been thinking about it. Self-administered shot can be a bit intimidating. But now there's a pill that delivers comparable results. If you've been thinking about getting on a GLP-1, RHOA might be the way to do it. They have 100% online care, access to clinically proven, FDA-approved medications, free insurance checks, side effect management, dosing support, and more. RHOA offers the first FDA-approved GLP-1 pill for weight loss at the lowest cost around. The new GLP-1 pill has the same weight loss ingredient as the shot and packs comparable results to the shot. It can help patients lose 14% of their body weight in a year on average. This is based on a study in non-diabetics with obesity or overweight plus a weight-related condition with diet and exercise. You may have also seen Serena Williams talk about collaborating and endorsing RHOA as well. As a world-class athlete, she also wanted to drop pounds after having children. If I had needed this particular option, this is what I would use. A pill versus a shot? Why not? Go to ro.co/Kempire to see if you're eligible for the new GLP-1 pill on RHOA. That's ro.co/Kempire to get started on RHOA. Go to ro.co/safety for box warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medication. More details on your discount and more will be available in the description. And we're back. Shout out to RHOA for sponsoring today's. Shout out to our sponsors, but shout out to RHOA for sponsoring today's recap of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Shout out to everyone celebrating a birthday. Happy tourist season. Just Jules, happy birthday to you. Thank you, Noda Queen, for gifting 5 memberships here on the channel. We appreciate your support. Be sure to thank Noda Queen for gifting membership. If you are a member of the channel, I just dropped the call link for Royal Court members and Senior Royals. It's not part of your membership, but we do it. And I will be dropping the call link for Team Kempire members in just a second. Live chat, we got over 2,200 of you watching on multiple platforms. How many people we got watching on YouTube alone? Let me look. We got over 2,200 of you watching on YouTube. So let's get over 1,000 likes, and I will drop the call and link for the general audience as well. And be sure to rate this week's episode. Let me see what the rating is saying right now in regards to this week's episode. 74% of you are rating this week's episode between a 7 and 10. That's really good for Atlanta. All right? That's really good. All right. Let me see. Thank you, Miss Parker, for the super chat. Miss Parker says, can we talk about how Pinky was going to leave, but mid-stand, she sat back down? She even failed at the dramatic exit. Yeah. And then you saw what Phaedra had to say about Pinky's exit. And she was like, I like a rump roast that I can lift up and take out. I was like, oh, that's actually pretty damn clever. That's really damn clever. But let me move on. Let me see. Tiara says, Pinky remembered the dinner didn't come out yet. And Pageant Mommy says she was hungry. All right. But let me get back to my notes. We don't have that much left in regards to this week's episode as well. Keep liking the video, guys, if you haven't already. And if you're listening to us on the podcast, be sure to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Wave Key says, but doesn't Phaedra have a meatloaf? I'm going to let you have that because that's how she's talking about other people's booties. So I'm going to let you have that, Wave Keith. Okay. All right. Let me see what else. So for those that are just joining us, we were just talking about the beef between Angela and Pinky during this table. So there was that point where Pinky gets up and basically tells Angela to kiss her butt. And that's where Phaedra makes that comment about her rump roast. All right. I'm still not over Pinky trying to talk about Angela's overbite and Angela returning with, not the way that your teeth commingles, those incestuous teeth you got. Look, all right. Then she talks about the lash glue. Then they talk about the husbands. And that's what Angela says, we don't have a live-in wife in the basement. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so Pinky says that, and if you saw the preview for next week's episode, looks even better than this week's episode. And that's just the preview. All right. Pinky says that Angela, she talks about, Pinky brings up the fact that if Angela was to take off her wig and makeup and eyelashes, that she would look like Damon. And everyone's like, who's Damon? Shamia's just like, any Damon I know is actually pretty good looking. So, look, come on. Pinky was trying to get, and I'm telling you, the knees got a little scuffed. Angela's knees got a little scuffed from Pinky hitting them. Okay? All right. Phaedra is in her confession. I am loving this. She says, they are the same people, both with a lot of debt. Phaedra was sending me. She definitely had a few moments in this week's episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta that made me laugh. Okay? Oh, Dina says, Rihanna said, add Angela to the list of people I ain't want smoke with. Please do. Because Angela held her own in a way that I never thought. And I'm thinking the other ladies took notes too in regards to that. They're like, oh, Angela's not one to play with. So Phaedra says they are the same people, both in a lot of debt. That still makes me giggle. All right. All right. K. Michelle says she looks crazy and she's going to bed. You all look beautiful, but I look crazy and I'm going to bed. All right. So she ends up leaving. And Drew says she's giving very humdrum. I haven't really gotten a chance to know her, but it's giving very humdrum. I would say the same thing. What's going on with you? No one's done anything to you. Like, why are you walking around all melancholy and slum? And just, like, that would annoy me too. And I haven't really gotten a chance to know who you are. But all right. Let me see what else you guys are saying in the chat. Chef Lorraine says the wife in the basement. Foxy says Phaedra is winning. Miss Parker says Battle of the Bankruptcies. That should be the name of the next week's episode. Chef Lorraine says that's when Pinky got mad at the house in the basement thing. Yeah, because she says she brings it up to her husband later. She said I had a third wife in the basement. Third? How do we get to number 3? What's a third wife? And I want Angela to explain, did you hear that as a rumor or you just said that to be funny? I don't know. Miss Pittman says, I agree with Drew for once. That's the only thing I can agree with Drew, at least with this week. Rahina says, yes, Kay's energy was low. Rahina, I'm guessing your 1 p.m. patient has canceled or is late? Just sorry. Lakia says, K. Michelle walking out of the group scenes is getting old fast. Yeah, especially when it doesn't warrant it. It doesn't involve you. It doesn't warrant it. It's just, what is going on? What is going on? All right, not third. She says it in next week's episode about, Angela brought up that we got a third wife in the basement. So I don't know what she's talking about. Exactly. Toy says, who's the second? I don't know. Miss Neen says, Debbie Downer. That's what it's giving. That's definitely what it's giving. Oh, Pageant Mommy said, hit dog on holla. All right. Was there anything else? And that's how this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta ends. So I thought that was really interesting. So we're going to start taking some callers. Live chat, I will drop the call link for you guys as well for those that want to call in and share their thoughts and opinions. Keep in mind, the opinions of the callers do not represent the opinions of myself, the KEMPIRE LLC, or our sponsors. And speaking of sponsors, today is brought to you also by our friends over at Hulu. Real talk. You live for reality TV. Every time it gets crazy, gets juicy, gets dramatic, and completely irresistible. And lucky for you, Hulu on Disney Plus does too, with the most unhinged and unmatched library of shows. Period. Turn on larger-than-life docusoaps like Season 4 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and the hit new series Love Thy Nader, featuring superstar model Brooks Nader and her sisters. Obsess over the seasons of iconic dating shows like Love Island UK and Farmer Wants a Wife. Get hooked on irresistible food competitions like MasterChef. Dive into hit game shows like Celebrity Family Feud and revel in show-stopping fashion competitions, including the one and only Project Runway. Whatever it is you're into, Hulu has it all. No filler, no fluff, just thousands of episodes of the very best in reality TV. Every single day. Because Hulu gets real. Stream now on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply. And we're back. Guys, I will drop the call-in link for the general audience in a moment once we get to 1,000, at least 1,000 likes. And then I'll drop the call link for you guys. But if you're a member of the channel, I've dropped the call link for you guys, including Team Kempire members. I just dropped the call link for you. Please keep in mind, once you're speaking your point, please hang up so that other people can call in because they only allow a certain amount of people backstage. Keep in mind, callers, to respect the 30-second timer, all right, so that we're able to get to everyone, all right? Duchess is backstage. We're going to bring Duchess up first. Duchess, what's going on?
Hi, I want to utilize my 30 seconds, so I'm going to go very quickly.
Okay.
K. Michelle, I understand she may be insecure, but at least she didn't give that Lisa Barlow meltdown that Lisa Barlow gave when Whitney wanted them to do the drag makeover, so I'll give her credit for that.
Yes.
Kelly, you got a lot to say in your confessionals. You need to back it up at the reunion. And then one last thing, a little off topic. I don't know if you covered this in your Friday Live because I missed it, but did you cover that Bronwyn Newport's going to be a guest judge on next season of Drag Race?
No.
Yeah, so she's going to be a guest judge. And me personally, as a Drag Race fan and a Housewives fan, I would love to see more of a crossover.
Okay. Thanks, Duchess.
Yeah. So,
bye. Excuse me, y'all. I will give her this. Since divorcing Todd, she's been at not D-list events. Some people try to do the thing after they get a divorce, but she's really been at A-list events, hanging out with A-list people, including Rihanna. So shout out to Bronwyn. She wants to let you guys know that she is that girl. All right, Angel's backstage. Angel, what did you want to share?
Kemp, I just wanted to say I became a Fangela yesterday because she wiped the table with Mr. Clean. No jokes. And I respect how honest she's being with everything in her money loss because we're oversaturated with the fakeness on this show right now between all the other ladies telling half truths and half lies about their relationships, and it's all coming out now. And Shamia acting like her only worry is Chick-fil-A when she knows she's worried about that marriage if she does not have a son for Gerald. So mic drop, I'm out. Thank you.
Damn, that was lethal. Wow. All right. Let me bring up Cynthia next. Hey, Cynthia. Cynthia, you're muted.
Hey, Kempire, how you doing?
How are you?
I'm fine. Great episode. You know me, I'm a fair, easy grader.
Yes.
I did like seeing the moment where they did a flashback with Nene and Cynthia.
Yes.
So it looks like NBC Universal. Yeah, that's good news. That's good news. Pinky's aggressive. I thought she's a really spicy Pisces. And that's it, Kempire. She's spicy.
Okay. Thanks, Cynthia, for calling in.
Thanks, Kempire. Have a good one.
You too. She said she's spicy. All right, we're going to get to some more callers. Right now we're taking calls from our members. Once we get to over 1,000 likes, I will drop the call link for the general audience. Let's bring up Dina Cole next. Dina Cole, what's going on?
Hey, Kim.
Hey.
I'm driving, so I'm finally not in the office. But Shamia is working on my nerves. How is it that I'm 26 and I still have more decorum than she does? Ma'am, what? Okay. I just can't. And the way she acts, I would not think that she would want her daughters to act like that. I don't want my niece to act like that. How is it that I have that mindset and you don't? And I wish her well in her marriage, but yeah, I don't know. It's getting a little fishy. And then Kelly, Miss Twitter Fingers, because that's really what it's giving. No, go on ahead, because you playing right now. Say it to her face.
Oh.
But that's it.
All right. Thanks, Dina Cole. All right. Noda Queen is backstage. You're going to bring up Noda Queen next. Noda Queen, what's going on?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey, how are you?
I'm tired. I'm recovering, child.
From what?
I went to see Bruno Mars last night. I had a ball.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if y'all mentioned it because I got on the live late. Drew wasn't really in this episode either.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not looking good for her. She better step it up. She need that money.
Ooh.
So she can move out that man house. But I don't like Kelly or Shamia. They're both so childish. And even outside of their just general behavior, with seeing Shamia trying to start this business, it just reinforces she's too childish to take this on. She just need to sit back and be the cat wife because that's all she clearly wants. She's not serious at all. But yeah, have a good one.
You too. Thanks, Noda Queen. All right. Let's bring up Toya next. Toya, are you there?
Hi, Kempire. How are you?
Oh, well, how are you?
I'm good. I haven't been able to call in a little while, so I'm happy. I just want to say, is this a safe space? All of this Shamia hate, like, I know her calling everybody best friend is cringy. I know she can't dress, but Shamia is still my girl, y'all. Please.
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry, but her biggest worry in life is getting to Chick-fil-A before 10:30 is everything, honey. I want that to be my biggest worry, too.
Oh.
Okay? And Pinky held her own against Angela. Now, Angela won the war, but Pinky was putting up some numbers. So y'all put some respect on Pinky's name. But like Phaedra said, they are both in the same boat. Because Angela, girl, you don't got it either as far as the money. Okay, bye.
Bye. Thanks, Toya. Y'all know this is a safe space for you guys to call in and share your unpopular opinion or quote unpopular opinion. So feel free. All right. All right, let's bring up Keith next. Hold on. Keith, are you there?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
So speaking of unpopular opinions, I do want to say that I actually do think Pinky is a great addition to the franchise because, mind you, Portia has been on for 10 years and I've never seen her go back and forth like this with anybody. So people bringing up Pinky, but what has Portia done? And also, I do want to say that Pinky bankruptcy is going to go over many people's heads because, unfortunately, many people are not going to be able to touch $2 million. So her having a bankruptcy of $2 million, many people won't actually be able to understand. And Shamia, of course, you wouldn't understand. You never owned a business. But also, I felt like a few of Angela's reads for Pinky didn't really land for me, in my opinion, because I'm sure if she was to throw a pebble, she'll be able to find 10 people that Charles cheated with. How old is his child again? But that's about it.
Oh, damn. Bye, Keith. Wow. This is why I love our community, though, because y'all share your opinions. All right. Hashtag Unique says, hashtag safe space. Hashtag safe space. Damn. All right. Let's bring up Tyler's backstage. Tyler, what's going on? Tyler.
Hello. Can you hear me, Kempire?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay. I can't hear you, but I'll go ahead and talk. I'll say this. I like Pinky. I thought that what Pinky is giving is somewhat what K. Michelle would be giving, but I do know K. Michelle is very sensitive and insecure about her looks, so it showed. I will say this, Drew, not just because I don't like her, I could see the little sideline things Drew was constantly saying about K. Michelle, and she was being slick when she said, "Oh, that's your friend." K. Michelle reads very well into what Drew is doing, and Drew, you don't want those problems. So when you get read, don't sit there and try to play victim, because Drew just speaks in such a condescending tone, it would irritate me. I will say this last but not least, Shamia and Kelly, let me say this. They're not able to read the room, baby. Y'all are being iced out. What they're saying is these new girls are here and they're bringing it and you girls are annoying it and y'all don't fit in. What you should have done was found a way to get over to that dinner table and shake the scene up. See, that's what you're doing. You're doing too much talking in your confessionals and too much talking behind people back. I'll give Shamia this. I think Shamia is carrying Kelly, riding with the wrong team when she needs to be at that table giving Portia and Phaedra and them the business. If Shamia would do that, people would like her. That's the problem. Kelly is bringing you down. You are like Sheree, baby. You are famously riding with the wrong team. Get over to that table and read those girls down and call it a day. That's the only thing that's going to keep you here because Portia cannot anchor a show by herself. The storyline with Shamia is going to continue to carry her or whatever drama she has. So Shamia, get to that table and read her before you lose your peach. That's all.
Ooh. Thanks, Tyler. All right. I'll let Tyler get a little extra time. Guys, we're almost at 1,000 likes, but I'm going to ride hard. I'm not dropping the call-in link for the general audience until we get to 1,000 likes. We got over 2,000 of you here. Over 2,100 of you here. Okay? Keep liking the video. It's an easy free way. But you've been here for almost 2 hours. Why wouldn't you like the video that you've been watching for almost 2 hours? Because technically, then we would have already over 2,000 likes. Just asking, just saying. And some of y'all watching and reviewing the show, you want people to find your channel? Like the video. Just saying. All right? Because either way, you've been watching. Either way, it still works out for me. Just saying. All right, I'm trying to help you. Okay? I'm trying to help you. But shout out to our members because this is a members only live chat. We do this at least once a month, even though we did it on Thursday for our Vedic astrology readings that you guys ended up getting. Shout out to our members. I did drop the call link for members on the post tab here on YouTube. All right. Matter of fact, I will actually drop it for those that are watching on Twitch. I will drop the call link for the Twitch fam. You're going to have to follow me on Twitch to see it there. Just saying. Okay. All right. Actually, I'm going to also drop it on Facebook too. Let me drop it on Facebook. Because you're going to have to follow me on Facebook to see it there too. Just saying. All right. Let me go back to our callers. Okay. Nia's backstage. We're going to bring Nia up next. Nia, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. How are you?
I'm well.
Long
How are
time no
you?
talk.
Yes.
Basically, I just want to give a shout out to Angela. Angela, I really have to say this. She's really grown on me, and I like how she's so quick and witty.
Yes.
And I just know if they would have put her on in the earlier season, she would have fit so well to the point where she would have had a following. I don't want to say too much like Nene, but I could definitely see her being one of those girls that everybody really loved and seeing her as like a mother hen. She definitely has it. I will say I do understand where Pinky is like coming from, where she probably felt attacked, but I think that's what gave Angela the upper hand because she obviously was very upset. That's all I got to say. Shout out to Angela.
Thanks, Nia, for calling in.
No problem.
Bye. All right, we have Elliot backstage. Sidebar, I have to shame y'all and offer y'all. We hit over 1,000 like in 2 seconds. OMG, but okay, all right. I just dropped the caller link, everyone, in the general area. Okay, the general chat. Okay, let me bring up Elliot next. Elliot, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Atlanta?
What's up, Kemp? This is my first time calling in. I'm a new member.
Thank you so much.
No problem. What is K. Michelle doing? Like, she's failing, man. Like, she's really not bringing anything. I expected more, but it's not doing it. And Angela definitely would have held it down with the OGs. Yeah. Definitely would have held it down. I'm so excited. I'm glad we got some of that flavor back. But that's all.
All right. Thanks, Elliot, for calling in. Thank you for being a new member.
Yeah, no problem.
Take care. All right. Ain't did that in less than 15 seconds. All right, I appreciate it. Okay, we got quite a few people backstage. I'm gonna bring up Kimmy first because Kimmy's actual member. Because I saw Kimmy, you couldn't find the call-in link. What's going on, Kimmy?
Oh no.
Kimmy, can you hear me? I can hear you, but can you hear me, Kimmy?
I guess you can't hear me, but I can hear you.
Oh.
But I can't hear you, so I'm just gonna start talking in case you can. Hi, I'm Kimmy G, and it's my birthday, y'all. It's my birthday. That's why I called in. So I'm sorry I missed the big part of the show. And thank you for my birthday cameo. I suggest y'all get it, especially y'all Taurus girls or people, I should say. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Kempire. I also appreciated that tarot show last week. I appreciate everything. But all I want to say, I missed most of the show, but I did want to say I really enjoyed the show last night. I thought it was good. I thought it was good. I actually laughed for the first time in a long time watching that show. And I thought it was actually good, worth the time. And I agree. I love Angela. I also agree that I never really saw too much for Shamia recently, but I thought the wrong road and all these confessional gangster stuff ain't where it's at. And the last thing I say, because I can't hear when it goes deep or not right now, it's just that, yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I really did appreciate Angela and Pinky. Some people say they thought Pinky won that. I think they both did pretty good. I think Pinky's doing a lot and should relax. And why they gonna show up to the dinner just because they nosy? If y'all was so disgruntled, why y'all come in late just because it got loud?
Mm-hmm.
See, raggedy, ridiculous. Thanks, y'all. Love y'all. Bye.
Happy birthday, Kimmy. Even though you can't hear me, but you'll hear me on the playback. Ms. Esquire says, happy birthday, Kimmy. Shout out to Kimmy, y'all. Shout out to all the Tauruses celebrating a birthday right now. A week from today will be my birthday. All right. A week from today will be my birthday. All right. Let's move on. Let me bring up Makai next. Makai, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Atlanta? Makai?
Hey, oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, hey, Kempire.
Hey.
So this episode was good. I was genuinely entertained. I said, okay, Angela, come in with the reeds. Come in. I can hit 10 people with the stone. Come on now. Come on now, Angela. No, but I just think Pinky, I'm not gonna lie, I'm enjoying Pinky too. Pinky's energy is really, it's not like 100% there. I think she needs to calm it down just a little bit. But I enjoyed, in my opinion, we needed somebody to kick it off, and her going spar to spar with Angela is what made the episode. I'm happy Pinky got activated. I'm happy Angela got activated. I'm still trying to understand how Phaedra's getting away with not getting activated, because Phaedra should have been gotten activated this season with at least one person. But hey, I'm gonna let her get her friend of check or whatever she's getting check. And yeah, I enjoyed this episode.
Okay.
K Michelle needs to step it up though. I had high hopes for K Michelle. I don't know what she's doing. Not engaging in group scenes is not a good look.
Thanks, Makai.
Thank you, Kempire.
Bye. All right. And for the replay crew, I want to hear your thoughts, your reactions to our review, your reactions to what people have been saying, some of the things that have come out. Like, how are you feeling about K Michelle and what she's brought or not brought this season? I do want to remind you guys, because I'm fair. Some of you don't think that, but F you. Villanera's still here. It's only episode 5. So let's see how the rest, the mid-season trailer is not even here yet. So let's see how these next few episodes go. Let's see how the season goes. By the end of the season, we might feel differently. I don't know, but we'll see. Okay. All right. Let's bring up TJ next. TJ, are you there?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Pinky, leave that lady alone. Ooh. Pinky, that lady alone, because she came in peace and you just poked the hive. I don't know. I think Angela did such a wonderful job with Pinky, but also Pinky was great. It was just so funny. I couldn't stop breathing. But did you also catch when Pinky's like, I lead multi-million-dollar businesses, and she's multi-million-dollar bills?
Oh, yes.
I was like, oh my God. That is so quick with it. And you know what? I just want to say one thing about Kelly, because I saw you guys trying to, know what's good. But yeah, I'm going to give Kelly, I want to see Wish, because she did state a while ago that she's afraid of Portia, because she know how Portia get, because Portia is the one who gets a bit physical. So she did state, I know Portia, so I'm going to try to keep my peace a little bit. But yeah, anyway, we'll see.
Thanks, TJ. All right, we got Chrissy backstage, and we're bring Chrissy up next. Chrissy, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Atlanta this week?
Hey, Kim, you can hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you. Okay, Rihanna, I just was on IG, and even Rihanna was like, please add Angela to the list of people I don't want to mess with.
So she said it.
She said it. And on top of that, I'm going to give Pinky a 0. Because once you have to resort to attacking a beautiful woman's looks, and on top of that, attack her in regards to her husband. And I did not like that. I was not in the menopause situation. Most women are going to go through menopause if we are blessed with age. So what we're not going to do is attack a woman. And a few of them are at the table are going through menopause or already have gone through it. So that was not shade, okay? And I don't fault K. Michelle for turning down Pinky's offer for her glam team. I would have turned it down too. Absolutely not. K. Michelle would have looked even worse. So that's all I wanted to add.
Thanks, Chrissy. I forgot that Pinky said that she would got her glam. K. Michelle's, I said, not today, Satan, not today. All right, Excommunicado's backstage. We're going to bring Excommunicado up next. Hey, Excommunicado. You're muted. Excommunicado. I know you're here.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Now I can. Can you hear me?
Is there background noise?
No.
Oh, okay, so good. Okay, I'll just go very quickly. I am here to stand behind Pinky since everybody is standing behind Angela. So Pinky, get behind me, please. Angela, she came in hot, she came in poking, and came in starting the fight with Pinky for no damn reason. But she wanted a moment, and I'm glad that she got it, and I'm glad that Pinky didn't actually let go of her neck. They dragged and they both dragged. For me, I would say for the fight, I would give Angela a 98, and I would give Pinky a 100.
Oh!
Because in the end, at the end of it, Angela started off very good. But she lost me when she came with that whole living wife situation, which was unfounded and just sounded stupid. And then Pinky at the end cleaned it up with the whole Demon Dig, which went over all of their heads. And nobody understood where she was coming from, which is for Friday after next. So I feel that, and in the end, Angela didn't get back from that. So I think that's what actually put it in Pinky's favor for me. And secondly, I would just say, I really do not like how a lot of people are not able to give Pinky her flowers on this show because they don't like the way she looks. For me, I feel like the bias against her because of her aesthetic.
I agree with
and
that.
I hate that because if you go online, a lot of hate towards her, even when she's doing something right. She's brought story and she's obviously brought the read. So what else do you guys need from the lady, please?
I agree with that.
That's all I'm going to say.
I agree. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thanks. Have a good day.
You too. I have to say, I do agree with that. I do believe, because, and please understand, here on our channel, we've been saying that Pinky has been bringing it as a newbie on this show in regards to she's giving us a reel, she's giving us story. I think she also has a dynamic story that I want to see come full circle where she's winning again. And if you know her history, then you're like, wow, she really came and built something that people need to know about. But in regards to the fight between her and Angela, I think she put up a good fight. I don't think she won that fight, though. I think she put up a really good fight, but I don't think she won. But I'll be on the lookout for the next time she fights with someone. I wouldn't want to fight with her either. But that's me. But I also agree with Excommunicado that I do feel like there are a lot of people that don't like Pinky because she is not the aesthetic. She doesn't have the pretty privilege according to what people want or expect on this show. So I do believe some people just don't like Pinky because of the way she looks. I agree. All right. Yeah, look, Dina says, I like Pinky and think she's a good addition, but Angela won that round. Yeah. And the war is not over. Because it still has to see that. But I think they put it to bed. That's the one thing that we did not talk about was at the end of the dinner wasn't even over. They did put a kibosh on it and they put a nice little bow on it. You know what I mean? So I feel like they moved on. And based off the interviews, it doesn't seem like they're still arguing or have any sort of beef. But that was probably the best moment this season so far. And I'm not saying that we need to have moments like this all the time in order to have great television. But if we're going to have one, make it this. And it's so interesting that newbies are the ones having the moment while the veterans are sitting by watching. Just saying. I have to agree with, I think it was Keith that said we've never seen Portia be able to argue like that before. We really haven't. And this is not a snipe at Portia because I do believe Portia has added a lot over the years. However, I've never seen Portia. I don't even know if Portia could handle an argument like that. But okay. Hence why you saw Portia apologizing to everyone at the reunion when she did. Okay. Wave Keith, thank you so much for another super chat and for being a member. Wave Keith says, I bet if Pinky came in with a bust down, BBL, and a face full of injected concrete, oh my God, the fans would like her a little bit more. Look, let's talk about it. Because I agree with you guys. I 100% agree that some people just don't like Pinky because of the way she looks. Just saying. But okay, let me bring up Kiki next. Hold on. Kiki, are you there?
Hi, Kempire.
Hey, how are you?
No, I don't know. I don't mind Pinky. The only thing I don't like about her is just I felt like her energy was a little bit off coming for Cynthia and just that was it. But I don't mind Pinky. I just don't like her dress sense. I think with a good stylist, she can look better. She just dresses a bit tacky for me. Actually, not a bit, a lot tacky.
Oh.
So I just feel like she should just brush it up a little bit. Oh my God, Kelly, let it go. What is her name? Shannon said, let the mouse go. Stop trying to pick a fight with Portia. Just let it go. It's not a good look for you. Shamia, Kelly, you guys can just go. Drew, I don't know what you're doing anymore. Yeah. All right. That's it.
Thanks, Kiki. Take care. I have to agree that either Kelly needs to say something to Portia to just face, or just be done with it. Because at this particular point, you're not saying anything to her face. You were at the Slutty Vegan event, and then you didn't say anything, and you completely avoided her. But you have all this mouth anytime you're in a confessional or if anytime you're with other people. I'm like, okay, at least have the conversation then. Portia did say something that stood out to me this week. She was like, Portia, it doesn't make it right, even though you sent flowers, but at least you were trying to at least be somewhat, okay, I'm not going to come support the business, but I'm still going to support this way. But I need Kelly to man up at this particular point. But that's me. All right. Let me bring up, last but definitely not least, we're going to bring up Camille. Camille, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. First time caller. Pinky, I'm really enjoying her different energy that she's bringing to the show. I think that it's going to be, I think that the people that are really listening to what she's going through in her bankruptcies and understanding it are going to appreciate the information that she's bringing.
Yes.
I think Shamia is really playing with fire because she's got a really good situation set up for herself. I understand where she may feel that she has to prove something to the others, that she can run a business, all of these things herself. I'm in a similar situation where thankfully my partner takes care of everything. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I understand the pressures of wanting to create something for yourself, but you're gonna end up losing that man by staying on the show. And I think Angela is doing too much to create these simple products that all you really have to do is go on Alibaba, find a good supplier. And I say this as someone who, her and her partner have created a successful 7-figure business on Amazon. It's not, I'm just saying, she's not gonna make any money because all of the people in that Regis office that she rented,
Yes.
every single person is gonna wanna cut off of a low margin product. And that's where she's gonna make the mistake. Just find a good supplier, find good packaging, and sell it at BravoCon, and you're in the money.
Oh my God.
These logistics supervisors, this, that, there's no logistics. China takes care of all of it for. They will ship it, it'll arrive at your door, and you create a Shopify and sell it. It's not as complicated as she's making it seem. I know I'm over time. I cannot wait for the reunion.
You provide
for
a lot of really
everyone.
great information for a lot of people in the chat too. Here's the thing.
It's not that hard. We're also in 2026 and there's a lot of great information out there. We got into the e-commerce market. We felt more close to the tail end of really making it, and we were able to make it. Right now, it's so oversaturated.
Yeah.
Don't overcomplicate it. I cannot wait for the reunion, for everyone to really see what everyone else said. Shamia, you look crazy. That's that's it. I am enjoying the season though.
I also think that Angela did that scene from the rented office for a scene. I hope that she really isn't making it as complicated as she was making it in that scene. I think she just wanted to have a scene. Let's hope that's what it was.
I think so too. And she could capitalize on it, but you should have already capitalized on it and had your product ready at the reunion last year. It's a little late right now. You can still make it, but you really need to actually look at what you're selling and realize that you're not reinventing the wheel. You're not creating a product, you're white labeling it, and that's fine. That's how a lot of people make their money. Don't overcomplicate it because every single person that's a part of the process has to get paid, and these margins are so low. And I speak on it as someone who has, again, been a part of creating a business that thankfully was successful, and we knew when to pull out of the market. She just doesn't know when. Some people want to succeed so bad that they are not willing to pull out and say, you know what, this isn't the right thing for me to do right now. Hence why she lost $2 million in real estate. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. I love her energy. She's bringing that old school, she's just bringing that old school Atlanta energy that I'm really enjoying. But you look foolish. That's it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for calling in, Camille. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye. All right. Hey, that's a perfect way to end today's Real Housewives of Atlanta Live. Shout out to Camille. Shout out to all of our sponsors. All the sponsor information will be available in the description. If you haven't already, please join our mailing list. Let me actually put it in the chat. Hold on. Let me do this right now before I forget. Let me do this right now before I get out of here. Hold on, y'all. Let me just bring this so that you guys can join our mailing list. For those that haven't joined yet, join the mailing list. So again, this is going to be where you guys get more information before I share it anywhere else. This is where you won't miss out on anything. So join the mailing list today if you haven't already. If you're part of the replay crew, click the link. I'll post the link at the top of the comment section. Join our mailing list because y'all gonna be upset when y'all start missing stuff. You're like, why come I didn't know about this? Because our Kempire's inner circle is the first to know and the only to know sometimes. All right. Shout out to everyone that called in. Shout out to our Kings Guards for always holding us down in the live chat. We cannot do it without them, so be sure to thank them as well. Thank you to everyone that liked today's video. We had over 1,100 likes. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to like the video as well and share your thoughts and opinions. Millie, thank you so much for the super chat. So shout out to everyone that sent in super chats as well. Millie says, a super chat to Pretty Please ask for your portrayal of the fight between Pinky and Angel, please. Excuse me, you want me to reenact that? That's gonna cost a little bit more than $5. What do y'all think this is? Y'all think this is the request line? Y'all want me to shuck and jive over here? Y'all want me to start acting like Shamia on my live and y'all sending $5? What is going on? What is happening right now? Are you okay? Get the merch. Head on over to houseofkempire.com, HAUS of Kempire.com. Get your Are You Okay merch, okay? What is going on with y'all right now? All right. Let me see what you guys are saying, and then I'm getting out of here. Thank you so much. Wave Key says, I'm subscribed to your podcast members only and mailing list. I'm feeling like a stalker. No, you're going to be very happy that you're a part of all the things in a second, Keith. All right. Keith also said Pinky knows what she's doing. Only one storyline a season, so y'all don't get everything at once. Yeah, look, I think that this is the same with Angela, too. I don't think Angela needed some sort of storyline. That's going to be her storyline. Okay, fine. Millie says, just one punch. You know what? Millie says, and a block. I already did enough of that already for you guys. Y'all think I'm Shamia over here, the Countess of Cringe. All right. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you all being here. Thank you, Foxy, letting you guys know. Get your Are You Okay merch. There's also mugs and travel things available as well. So go check it out. All right, y'all. I will see you all in the next one. The next one will be our recap of the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. You're not getting that today, though. You're not getting that today. Tomorrow, we'll talk about Real Housewives of Rhode Island. And I will see you all in the next one. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday. Thank you all for liking the video. Thank you for everyone that was here. I appreciate you. If you're part of the replay crew, let's continue this conversation in the comment section. Bye, y'all. Everyone have a good day. Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. Don't forget to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And for more information on the podcast, head on over to KempireRadio.com.